Phil, can you hear me?
You're here, Mr. Councillor Beecroft. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can't see you though. Just wanted to make sure you could hear us.
Yep.
Just a reminder that everyone turns off their phones, please, or sets them to silence. Welcome elected members, staff, guests and members of the public gallery to our ordinary council meeting of the 29th of January 2025, and welcome back everyone to our first council meeting of the year. I declare this meeting opened at 5:34. The City of Busselton acknowledges the Wardandi and Bibbulmun people as the traditional custodians of this region, and we pay our respect to the elders past, present and emerging. This meeting is being audio recorded for minute-taking purposes and is also being live streamed on the city's Busselton YouTube channel. The prayer this evening will be read by Pastor Brodie Teo from the Cornerstone Church. Pastor Brodie, good to see you. Please just press the button and
Well, it's such an honour to be here, so thank you for inviting me. And would you join me as I pray? Father God in heaven, you are so gracious, and I just want to say thank you for the awesome city of Busselton. Thank you for the incredible beaches, just the incredible scenery, just everything that makes this place an absolute delight to live. I want to lift up perhaps those of us in our community who might feel a little bit hopeless. Lord, I pray that you would bring hope. And Lord, I also want to lift up the leaders of the city of Busselton, particularly the mayor and all the councillors. Lord, I pray that you would give them strength and wisdom as they lead this council. So Lord, would you bless them and be with them and just guide them and give them incredible strength and wisdom as they lead. I pray all of this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you for those kind words, Pastor Brodie, and you're welcome to stay or leave as you wish. You might be wishing you'd stayed here. Cheers, thank you. In attendance, we have Councillor Anne Ryan, Deputy Mayor, Councillor Jodie Lee, Councillor Val Cade, Councillor Andrew McNeish, Councillor Michaela Love, Councillor Kate Cox, Councillor Jared Kennedy. Councillor Richard Beecroft is joining us remotely. Can you hear us, Councillor Beecroft?
Yes, I can. Can you see and hear me?
Can't see you at this stage, but we can hear you. I'll just sort those screens out. And obviously myself, Mayor Phil Cronin. We have no apologies, no approved leave, no application for leave. After such a long holiday, everyone decided to stay. So I appreciate that. I'd like to welcome elected members and staff back to the first council meeting of the year, and I hope you all had a relaxing and enjoyable break over the recess. Just to say, we welcomed 20 new Australian citizens at the naturalisations ceremonies held in Busselton and Dunsborough, so congratulations to our newest citizens. I'd like to thank the Rotary Club of Busselton, Geograph Bay and the Dunsborough and Districts Progress Association for hosting a fantastic celebration days on celebration on Australia Day. On Australia Day, we also celebrated and recognised some individuals who've made an outstanding and worthy contribution to our community. And I'd like to congratulate our Community Citizen of the Year award winners, Sarah Barclay, Drew West, Robert Gelfie, and the Busselton Hospice Care Inc. Congratulations to all our Community Citizens of the Year nominees. We had an outstanding field of nominations this year, and it's been inspiring to hear about and meet those who are making such a positive difference to our community. I have no disclosures of interest received. I will now move on to item 6, which is the public question time. I will be returning to item 5.1. So we have one question that was taken on notice on December 24 meeting, the response to which has been listed on the agenda at page 10 and is now being displayed on the screen for you to view. Item 6.2 is question time for the public. We've not received any bookings for public question times. Are there any members of the question who would like to ask a question? Mr. Dickey, would you like to step forward? For the record, please announce your name and where you're from.
Andrew Dickey from Busselton. My question concerns the streamed videos of council meetings. Section 58 of the Local Government Amendment Act 2023 inserts a new section 5.23a into the Local Government Act 2023 covering electronic broadcasting and video recordings of council meetings. This new section states, both audio and video recordings must be of a quality sufficient to effectively watch and listen to the deliberations and communications that are part of the meeting proceedings. Speaking on behalf of the City, will you, Mr. Mayor, confirm complete compliance with the new section of the Local Government Act 2023 and that all deliberations will be recorded and audible, including any advice given to you by officers during the council meetings? In other words, that there shall be 0 instances of you or anyone else turning off the microphone or allowing any input to deliberations to be made in a volume that is not audible to the public present and clearly recorded for the public record.
Thank you, Mr. Dickey. I'll take that on notice.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Mr. Evell?
Don Evell from Geograph. Over the last 6 months, ending November 24, the City of Busselton paid over $1.2 million to Jetstar. Now, on what basis this money is given to Jetstar? And is it relating to flights from Melbourne, or is it now a new payment system for flights from Sydney? If not for the Sydney flights, will you confirm that there will be no other incentive scheme for these flights as you've done for the Melbourne flights?
Ms. Seago, do you still answer this?
I can partially answer this for you, Mr. Evell, but
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
We can partially answer this for you, Mr. Evell, but some other information I can get back to you. Can't answer the question on whether there will be future incentives. That'll be up to council to decide into the future, and the elements of any payments with Jetstar are commercial in confidence, so we would have to leave that one there, but happy to get back to any other information that might be relevant.
So you can't tell me if it's for Melbourne or Sydney?
No. Not wholly.
Second question. The 4-month period, August to November 24, the City of Busselton has spent $269,231 on legal advice. This is an indication that the City of Busselton is facing huge legal issues now and in the future, and can you give us some background as to what's going on?
Mr. Seago?
No, I need to see what the specifics are for those legal costs, and a lot of those are legally privileged information as well.
So you can't answer it? Where's the transparency? Where is the transparency?
Thank you, Mr Evil. Please take a
I'm
seat.
leaving. Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Thank you. Cheers. Are there any further questions? Carolyn? Oh, sorry, someone's jumped in. It's all right. That's okay.
Diane Burke from VAS, representing Barra.
Diane Burke.
Okay, I refer...
Sorry, what is Barra? Sorry.
Barra, B-A-R-R-A. Okay, I refer to item 12.1 on this evening's agenda, WALGA, Sustainable Energy Project, Stage 2 Agreement. Firstly, community benefits. How will this project directly benefit residents, such as reducing household energy costs or providing access to renewable energy programs?
Well, this will be debated, so we're not sure of the outcome of this item as such. Mr. Seer? Yeah, so until the item has been voted on, we are unable to answer that question.
Okay. Secondly, transparency. I'm probably going to get the same answer. Transparency and accountability. What specific steps will the city take to ensure transparency in the implementation and reporting of outcomes for this project?
Again, dependent on the decision of what we're going ahead today, so I can't give you an answer based on what I don't know.
Well, basically, we want to know that if it's going to be transparent.
Well, everything we do, when it can be legally made so, is transparent, yes.
We'll see.
Yeah. How many members do you have, by the way, at Barra?
Don't ask me. I'm a new one. Thirdly,
That's transparent, thank you.
I answered you. Thirdly, environmental impact. What measurable reductions in carbon emissions or energy use can residents expect to see as a result of this initiative?
I think we're going down the same rabbit hole, so...
It's all on the same subject, yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your questions.
Well, we will keep an eye on you.
I'm sure you will, thank you. Carolyn, do you like to...
Oh, I see. I've got to press, yeah.
Just say your name and where you're from for the record. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, no worries. My name's Carolyn Mills and I'm from Busselton. I grew up in Busselton and quite a passionate person about a few things that are going on in Busselton right now, more so with homelessness and housing. I'm finding that we have probably about 700 looking for homes. That is rough sleepers in tents, that is people sleeping in sometimes areas like sheds, backyards, churches, you name it. And it's got quite bad over summer. I feel we've had a bit of an influx of people that want to sort of come down here for the nice summertime. And I'm just wondering, I know the city's quite supportive towards some of the people that are sleeping rough, because I know the rangers are just touching base with some of them and they're trying to help when they can. I'm just wondering, I know there's some pockets of land in different areas. I'm just wondering, in the future of 2025, if there's any bigger areas where we can actually build some homes. I know some of them take a bit longer than others, but I have helped quite a few people with furniture and getting homes through Department of Housing. So what I'm actually suggesting is maybe doing some, because I've started a bit of a housing group again called Crash, which was started by Bernie Masters a lot of years ago, and it's Cape Region Association for Community Housing. So with that, we have all the different groups and they all sit together, and it was every month and we got lots done. And I think I want to rehash that again. I think we really need to work on it together, collaborate with...
I've realised I've allowed you to speak quite a bit.
Sorry. Oh, yeah, I'm gone over my time. Sorry, you should have put a little dinger on. Sorry. I'm getting all excited.
It's your first time, so I'll let you
is,
away with
thank
that
you.
one. But yeah, generally for it's question time, you just come and ask
5
questions.
minutes. Yes, sorry.
Sorry,
So-
this is just question time. You can
Sorry.
speak to council in the
Later.
prior weeks, but today is just questions.
It's just one of those days. I've got
Sorry.
a bit of a foggy brain.
Sorry. So your
Thanks.
question is?
My question is, how is the City of Busselton helping with the rough sleepers? And, yeah, what's their future plans?
I'll give that one to you, CEO, for me.
So at the moment, thanks for the question. At the moment, obviously, our officers are come into contact with rough sleepers quite regularly and help them, educate them on where they can go for assistance and help and community services, etc. as well. That's probably the extent of that component of assistance we provide. In the future, I probably can't answer that because that'd be subject to council's decisions and things, but council does have land holdings that it may consider in the future could be like that, and already provide community housing already in the Busselton area, as I think you're aware. Whether that could go through a redevelopment, but that would take some discussion with council and decisions that would move anything forward from there.
Thank you.
Thank you for your question. Are there any further questions? Being no further questions. Oh, sorry.
Hi there. My name's Darren Glover from Ambergate. I just want to read this out to you. So there's a question in this, but it's a preamble to what was corresponded previously today. Dear Tony, Phil and councillors, through Busselton Area Ratepayer and Residents Association Incorporated, I raised 3 questions to council in the December meeting public question time. The third question is written below with your transcribed response following from the minutes. Question: as part of the council's responsibility under the Public Health Act 2016 to promote and protect the health of the community, will the council commit to holding a special meeting to address the potential risks identified? If not, could the council provide a clear explanation as to why this matter does not warrant urgent attention? The minuted response, Tony Nottle, Chief Executive Officer: the city does not provide any health services dealing with the administering of vaccines to the community, and so it's not planning to take any further action with regards to the letter received. The Mayor or councillors may call for a special meeting of the council to be convened by the CEO if they wish for this matter to be considered further or further action to be taken. The actual recording of your response was, look, through the chair, obviously that is something that the council would need to consider if they wanted to bring back and request the staff to take further. At this point in time, as what we have in play is that the Department of Health, we do not run any clinics, Mr. Glover. So there is nothing we have there that actually promotes or provides that service. So at this point in time, unless there is something forthcoming from the council, there hasn't been any action taken. I can't speak for the council, Mr. Glover. So the question was, we request that the minutes are updated to accurately reflect the recorded response, and you made that you made above prior to them being approved at the council 29th January meeting. If there are any issues with this request, please let us know prior to the meeting. Yours sincerely, Darren Glover, Barrow Committee. So the response today, good morning, Jay.
Darren, I will press you, as I have earlier. What is the question?
I'm coming to the question now.
Well, thank you.
Right. So this is the response we got from Tony today.
No, what's the question, please?
Well, this is the response. You have to know what that is.
Well, I need to know what your question is of council, please. No, I've been fair.
Do you want to hear this, guys?
This is question time. I'm sorry. This is question time. What is your question of council, please?
So,
and actually, the councillors all received this, so they have been made aware of it.
So as for regards to the question, to what degree of flexibility in your response is deemed reasonable, and do the other councillors see this as an adequate response? So I was actually going to read the response that you gave out today.
Thank you. We've seen.
Tony, would you like to read that out?
No, you will not direct the CEO to do anything. It comes through me. Come on, Darren, we've got to play this properly.
So the thing is that that is the response from that gives it context to the question. So if you want to hear it, it's entirely up to you.
Sure. No, that's fine. We've received the question.
Okay, I'll put it in writing to you. Thank you.
Thank you. May I ask one question, Darren? As you're on the committee and you use the word "we" a few times, may I ask how many members you have? Just fairness of the council
Why
making
do I have to
decisions.
answer that?
Well, you're saying you represent a large.
No, I
Group.
didn't say I represent a large amount of people. I said I represent an incorporation. That's what
And
I said.
I'm just politely asking how many members you have, if you don't wish to explain that. Thank you. That's okay. I'm just asking a question. Because he used the word "we," and I was wondering how big "we" is. Oh, well, I'm sure it'll all go online soon. Okay, thank you. No further questions?
Mr. Mayor, can I?
You may ask a question.
May I just ask a question? Yeah, I guess, so when something's said in a meeting and then it goes on the minutes, it doesn't have to be verbatim, does it? I mean, the way I understand that scenario, the minuted response seemed to be more clearer than what was said on the night, but yet, does it need to be verbatim in the...
I'll pass that to...
Through the Mayor, specifically, Councillor Kennedy, Reg 11 actually says that a summary will be provided of the question and a summary of the answer, and that's exactly for that purpose, so that it's clear and concise.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have no petitions, and now we'll move on to item 7.2, which is presentations by a party with interest. And we have Ms. Terry Durant from the Group Executive Social and Community Impact from RAC, and this on item 12.4, the Safer Speeds Trial.
Good evening. Firstly, I would like to start by acknowledging the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Councillors of the City of Busselton, the CEO and the Executive Team, Ms Kelly Hick, local resident and RAC Councillor, and members of the community that are attending this evening. As the Group Executive of Social and Community Impact at the RAC, I have the privilege of being involved in initiatives and working with organisations like the City of Busselton and the Shire of Augusta Margaret River that are focused on leading the way to make things better in WA and specifically in your community. This evening, the initiative you are considering is one of our most critical challenges, and that is road trauma. Last year, WA experienced one of the worst years for road trauma in a decade. Between 2019 and 2023, 195 people in total were tragically killed or seriously injured in the City of Busselton and the Shire of Augusta Margaret River. In the City of Busselton alone, there was 136 people killed or seriously injured. It is within this context that the decision to implement a holistic Safer Speeds trial in the City of Busselton is now within your control. Of course, there are lots of opinions about safer speed trials, speed and speed limits, but the facts are, speed is the major contributor to our poor road safety record. Busselton has the second highest number of road fatalities of any local government in regional WA. The original parameters of the proposed Safer Speeds trial have not changed. The heads of agreement signed by the City and RAC in June 2022 was to collaborate on a Safer Speeds trial that will, A, take a holistic and coordinated approach to planning and rolling out appropriate speed limit reductions to encourage safer speeds across the local government area, and B, accelerate life and serious injury saving action, lessening the devastating and often lifelong impacts of road trauma that ripple through local communities. The City of Busselton first received maps showing the proposed extent of the trial in September 2023. There were also discussions at working group meetings in October and November 2023 on the scale of the proposed changes, approach for the blueprint, rationale and trial background. Of the 16 roads travel time tested in the current trial area in the southwest, the average increase in driving time was 62 seconds. That's 62 seconds. In almost all cases, the increase in travel time would be less than 2 minutes. The trial will be accompanied by a robust evaluation at the 12 months and 36-month mark, which will enable the full impacts to be measured. It is at Main Road's discretion if at the end of the 3-year trial period there would be any adjustments to the speed limit reductions being trialled. The results of the evaluation will assist in that process. RAC's approach has continued to be guided by the trial proposals that went to community consultation and were developed collaboratively by the working group over a 2-year period. This trial has challenged the existing process of requesting speed limit reductions with main roads, focusing on a network-wide approach rather than ad hoc single road requests. Our approach has also been guided by working collaboratively with our partners to deliver an extensive blueprint of the roads in this region as part of the trial, which has clear objectives, principles, and is underpinned by an extensive network review, stakeholder engagement, and supporting technical analysis. Therefore, should the City of Busselton decide to implement the original intent and purpose of the trial, we look forward to working with you, just like we have done previously with the RAC Electric Highway and the RAC Driverless Intellibus on the foreshore. Should the City of Busselton choose its own path and decide not to support the Safer Speeds trial in full, as developed by partners across the 1,250 roads, then this is outside of the trial objectives and therefore cannot be supported by RAC. Unfortunately, the alternative proposals put forward by your officers have not been developed in collaboration or even consultation with project partners. They're only shared with the RAC 3 working days in advance of the council briefing session, which occurred last week. I'm also advised Main Roads, as the speed limit setting authority in WA, has not been given an opportunity to analyse the alternative proposals put forward. If you do decide to take an alternative approach, or no approach at all for that matter, we wish you every success with considering and implementing the alternative proposals your officers have now recommended to you. This can be implemented as part of your usual engagement with Main Roads. And to assist you with these discussions, the City now has a detailed blueprint to guide your future decisions on speed in the area. I can also reassure you that the RAC will continue to advocate for road safety in the City of Busselton through initiatives like the Regional Road Safety Program, High Speed Local Country Road Program, road safety education in our schools, and initiatives supporting your community, such as the Risky Road Survey. I would like to conclude by thanking the City of Busselton for your collaboration over the last 3 years on this life-saving initiative. Thank you for the opportunity of speaking this evening, and I wish you well in your deliberations. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Can I ask a question, please?
You may ask a question.
Sorry. I'm just interested in a comment that you made that the staff didn't consult you about the officers' recommendation. Was there anything in the heads of agreement that said that officers had to?
I couldn't tell you whether that was in the heads of agreement or not, but no, we weren't consulted.
You weren't consulted?
No, that's what I said. We weren't consulted on the changes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. I now move to item 5.1, the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 11th December 2025 to be confirmed as a true and correct record. Do I have a mover? Move Councillor Kennedy. Seconder? Councillor Cox. Is there any objection? There is. Therefore, Councillor Kennedy, do you wish to put your motion?
Just move it as written.
Thank you. Councillor Cox, do you wish to?
I'll reserve my right. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Is there a speaker against? Councillor McNeish.
Yes, I speak against because, in particular, I find the saltwater project item, the decision on that is different from the relevant written recommendation made by the staff. And as such, under the Reg 11DA, I think from memory, written reasons shall be given. There are none contained in the minutes. So from my perspective on that non-compliance, I couldn't vote for the minutes.
Thank you, Councillor McNeish. Is there a speaker for? Speaker against?
I'm actually raising the issue that Mr Glover raised because on reflection of the question and answer on the night, the answer is completely different. It isn't a summary, it's completely different to what was given. And just reading the Local Government Act, the Act talks about evidence. And if that was to go to a court of law, the Local Government Act is over and above the regulations, which does say a summary, yes, but I would argue that it's not a summary of the true fact of what was said on the night. Thank you.
Speaker for? Speaker against? Your right of reply? Okay. Oh, sorry, just a minute. Councillor Beecroft, didn't see if your hand went up at all. No. Councillor Cox, you reserved your right. You wish to not speak?
I'll reserve my right, thank you.
Well, you've reserved it, but yes. Okay. Councillor Kendi, your right of rebuttal.
Yeah, nothing further to add, all valid points. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Therefore, I put the motion. All those in favour? And so that's 4. All those against? 5 against. So their minutes will not be received. So it's lost. 4-5. Item 9 is the adoption by exception. The recommendation that the committee recommendations for items 10.1 and the officer recommendations for items 12.2, 14.1, 14.2, 15.1 and 15.2 be adopted en bloc. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Craig. Is there a seconder? Seconded Councillor Cox. Is there any objection? If not, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Is there a delay there, Councillor Beecroft?
Possibly.
Item 13.2, RFT 1524, Busselton Highway Upgrade Stage 3. Do I have a mover? 12.3. I'm reading 13 underneath. 12.3, moved Councillor Ryan, seconded Councillor Craig. Is there any opposition? If not, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Item 13.1, Business Development Events and Marketing Programme Outcomes, December 24. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Cox. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Craig. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I will put the motion. All those in favour? The motion is carried 9-0. We now move on to the CEO Performance Review Committee Appointments, which is item 14.3. So, we're going to have fun here. So, as in front of you, we will first go through the appointments of the elected members. So, I'll just be, if you could raise your hands if you wish to be on this committee. Okay, so we have all councillors bar Councillor Cox and Councillor Beecroft. I'll just give the staff time to... You happy with that? Point 2 appoints the presiding member of the CEO Performance Review Committee pursuant to the section 5.12 of the Local Government Act 1995. So firstly, I'll ask for any nominations. I will be nominating. Councillor McNeish. Is there any other nominations? If not, I will give you a few minutes to say a speech if you wish to do so. If you wish to talk to the motion, I'll let you go first.
Well, I think...
Excuse me. Please take a seat, Councillor. Okay. So I will... Do we suspend full motion or just 10.8? Yes. So I'm just going to suspend the part of the standing orders to extend the speech time. Okay, I'll just need a mover for suspending the standing orders. Councillor Ryan, seconded. Councillor Kennedy, is there any opposition? If not, I put the motion forward. We will suspend the standing orders until this nomination has been completed. Councillor Munish.
Thank you, sir. And thank you very much for the nomination. I guess I have experience in chairing committees on the Audit Committee, and I took particular interest in the CEO Performance Review process and its committee. I believe, if I recall correctly, I drove the motion to have the council cease the previous committee and recast its terms of reference, which I was actively involved with Ben, the internal lawyer, in recasting, and then took a lead role in structuring the CEO's KPIs going forward for, well, pretty much for the remainder of his contract as the KPIs roll out with more data coming in, and hence the ability to make a more refined KPI year upon year, which was good for stability. I was encouraged to see almost all councillors now jump back into the committee, which is a healthy sign, and stress that it is a very important role, important committee, and I'll become involved in doing it to the best of my ability. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Councillor McNeish. Look, I'm standing for chair as I believe the relationship between the Mayor and the CEO is not just another professional working agreement, it's the foundation upon which a good governance is built. When this relationship is strong, the entire organisation benefits. When it falters, progress stalls. As Mayor, I work closely with the CEO on a daily basis to translate strategic vision into actions, align priorities with community needs, provide a clear and constructive feedback. And I've also completed 3.4A of the terms of reference, being that I have attended and completed the training for this role. I obviously have regular meetings with the CEO, and as chair, I will be facilitating and listening and not getting too involved in what goes on. I strongly believe that it is expected by the public that I would take the chair of this committee, as it has always been the position of the Mayor in the past. And also 2.81E clearly states that the role of the Mayor, and only the role of the Mayor, though the Mayor has this role, I have the right to liaise with the CEO on local government affairs and the performance of his functions. In essence, I spend the most amount of time with the CEO. I have the relationship with the CEO, and if messages need to be relayed to him, I feel that this position of chair would be in good standing. So I hope the councillors will consider that I won't be getting involved, I will be listening and doing the role of chair. So in that case, I would hope that you'd vote for me. Thank you. So we'll now hand out voting slips and you can vote accordingly, and then we will get those results.
You could just ask Councillor Beecroft to email his vote to me.
Sorry? Oh, and Councillor Beecroft, would you be able to email your vote through? Thank you to, I'm sure, Tegan. Thank you.
Okay, I'll do that.
Do you want this one? So Councillor Manish got 5 votes and Councillor Mayor Cronin got 4. So Councillor Manish is the presiding member. So And now we will put forward for the deputy presiding member. Do I have any nominations? Councillor Love. Oh dear. Councillor Lee, got that luck bit there, but Councillor Lee, is there any other? If not, Councillor Lee, congratulations. Okay, I'll now vote to resume standing orders. Do I have a mover? Moved Councillor Ryan, seconded Councillor Cagg. Is there any opposition? If not, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 9-0. Thank you. Now move on to...
Sorry, Phil. What's on the screen here?
So you now have the officer's recommendation in front of you. Do I have a mover for the motion? Being no mover, I'll lapse. Councillor Kennedy, do I have a seconder?
That's the whole motion.
Yes.
1, 2 and 3.
Yes, sorry. Okay. Are you happy that you moved the correct motion that was in front of you? Thank you. Is there any opposition? Being no opposition, I put the motion. All those in favour? The motion is carried 9-0. Thank you. Absolute majority. Item 12.1, the Walga Sustainable Energy Project Stage 2. Councillor Jared Kennedy's alternative recommendation will go first. Just wait for that to come up in front of you. Councillor Kennedy, do you wish to move your motion? Put your motion, was it? Or just, yeah, as seen.
Oh, okay, yes, as written, yes.
Thank you very much. Do I have a seconder? Second, Councillor McNeish. Is there any opposition? There is opposition. Therefore, Councillor Kennedy, you can speak to your motion.
Yes, councillors, so this motion is to accept 25% natural power. So whilst the community's desire to reduce emissions can be seen in the adopted council plan, it is within the sustainable practices that can be found and is not the major component. Other desires can be seen in the 2025 energy strategy, which is coming to an end. And also by signing the Walga Climate Declaration, the city has committed for appropriate emission reductions. Last year's special electors meeting and current major political party commitments shows community concern for the environmental and financial consequences of renewable technologies such as offshore wind. I question the community's understanding of the confusing net zero landscape. One must know their carbon footprint and set their targets to reduce their emissions. Accounting is done through the wholesale energy market and the Swiss. There's tax subsidies, STCs, LGCs, and a range of other grants to encourage investment. Levelised cost of energy is referenced throughout the power industry to compare the price of renewables to conventional energy. There are concerns that these technologies that reduce emissions after they have been manufactured do not achieve a net benefit in emission reductions when considering their whole of life cycle. Embodied energy and energy memory are environmental accounting methods used to determine a product's total energy. Electricity generators and consumers should know these figures before we invest if we to ensure we are truly reducing emissions and that renewables are practical. Simple logic and market factors would determine that renewable energy would be cheaper because it is more abundant, but that is not the case. Rooftop solar has been proven to be the most effective, with prices sitting around 8 cents a kilowatt. The mid-scale solar project looked promising, but it did not eventuate, and now we find ourselves considering power at 31 cents per kilowatt. Emission targets will be expensive. Purchasing 25% natural power comes to 28 cents per kilowatt and is the best value for money. Renewable energy demand is outstripping supply, and similar to a loan, we should consider purchasing at a later date when it is more viable. Renewables are a luxury, and whilst there are residents that purchase home batteries and EVs, we should not burden every individual with 100% renewable electricity targets. We must revisit that the emissions reduction targets are too ambitious. As stated in the energy strategy, the suitability of a zero net emission target will need to be reviewed and may be suitable for the next phase of the strategy. I'll also argue that the vision has a focus on optimising energy, and it's only that it has a fallback option to pay for off-site renewables. A lot has changed since the strategy was created, and I'm hesitant to lock into an agreement until 2028. Global climate organisations claim that even if net zero targets are reached, they may not affect on climate change. And so if it is truly an emergency, we need to pivot and act now. As observed by the bomb, we are drying and we have a hotter climate in the southwest. Securing our water resources and cooling our environments should be the best strategy, as opposed to reducing greenhouse gases and investing in expensive new technologies. If these predictions are as dire as is claimed, like any endeavour, we should ensure the city is protected first. Emission targets were ambitious, unrealistic, and are based on global values and predicted detrimental models. I feel it's responsible for us not to accept everything that's pushed down from the top, and we need to be leaders from the bottom up. The realities of renewables, their financial and environmental impacts are a concern. 25% is the best value for money and still supports other local governments to get 100% uptake savings. But we need to be real, and I recommend we slow down and reassess the climate strategies and look at successful adaptations that further benefit our community. Thank you, councillors.
Thank you, Councillor Kennedy. Councillor Nish.
I commend the structured argument put forward by Councillor Kennedy, value for money in particular, but the ethic that is underpinning what he's saying is that we need to work our way out rather than buy our way out. And in working our way out using a number of strategies, not just purchasing the renewable energy 100%, which will get us to a target for which this council particular hasn't been associated with setting, and probably needs to revisit in an environmental context where it sits in its whole sort of council plan to flesh out the entire environment and then come down into the power aspect. So not 100%, not zero, and good value for money, and well argued.
Speaker against? Councillor Wright.
I too would like to congratulate you, Councillor Kennedy. I think it's admirable. I would like to foreshadow the exact same clauses, but with a zero base component. So that is a saving of basically $87,500 each year for the next 3 years. Ian Plimer is Emeritus Professor of Earth Sciences at the University of Melbourne, and the comments are attributed to his book Heaven and Earth, Global Warming, the Missing Science. We're all environmentalists, he writes. Some of us underpin our environmentalism with political and romantic idealism. Others underpin it with emotion. Others have a religious view of the environment. Some underpin their environmental view with economic pragmatism. And many, like Professor Plimer, try to acquire an integrated scientific understanding of the environment. An integrated scientific view involves a holistic view of the Earth and considers life, ice sheets, oceans, atmosphere, rocks, and extraterrestrial phenomena which influence our planet. Some big words there. Geology is about time, changes to our environment over time, and the evolution of our planet. Geology is the only way to integrate all aspects of the environment. Past climate changes, sea level changes, and catastrophes are written in stone. Time is a beautiful but misunderstood four-letter word. Most of us can't fathom the huge numbers that geologists and astronomers use. Hence, most of the community has little knowledge of geology. There is little or no geological, archaeological and historical input into discussions about climate change. It is little wonder then that catastrophists, views of the future of the planet fall on fertile pastures. Catastrophic events happen. They take place in cold times and in warm times, and life still blossoms and economies bloom. The climate has always changed. It always has, and it always will. Sea level has always changed. Ice sheets come and ice sheets go. Life always changes. Extinctions of life are normal. Planet Earth is dynamic and evolving. Climate changes are cyclical and random. Through the eyes of a geologist, I would really be concerned if there were no changes to Earth over time in the light of large, rapid, natural climate changes. Just how much do humans really change the climate? The Earth's climate is driven by the receipt and redistribution of solar energy. Without this, there would be no life on Earth. Despite well-documented linkages between climate and solar activity, the sun tends to be brushed aside as the driver of climate on Earth in a place of a trace gas, CO2, most of which derives from natural processes. The CO2 in the atmosphere is only 0.0001% of the total CO2 held in the oceans, surface rocks, air, soils and life. Although we are in one of the many warm periods between ice ages, there is a significant amount of ice remaining in the polar regions. Polar ice has been present for less than 20% of geological time, life on Earth for more than 80% of the time, and liquid water on Earth for 90% of the time. Planet Earth is a warm, wet, volcanic greenhouse planet which is recovering from glacial times and is naturally warming. Cooling has also occurred in the current interglacial times. Earth has warmed and cooled on all time scales, whether they be geological, archaeological, historical, or within our lifetime. I'm getting there. The key questions are, how much of this warming can be attributed to human activity? If we humans are warming the planet now, how do we explain alternating cooling and warm periods during the current post-glacial warming? Before we can hope to understand present climate change, we must understand how climate has changed in the past. So, I think you get that there are many views about climate change. And Professor Plimer articulates it very well. I find that the sensationalism is par for the course.
That's
I've just
time,
got
Councillor
one
Ryan.
more sentence, which is what we find each night on the comedy hour.
Councillor Ryan, that is time.
Also known as the nightly news at 6 p.m. In closing, councillors, I have one question. For the handsome sum of $262,302 or $87,434
Thank you, Councillor Ryan, that's
each
your
year
time.
for the next 3 years,
Thank you. Cheers.
What are
Thank
ratepayers
you.
getting? Are they getting value for money?
Yes.
I think not.
No. Okay. Speaker for? Speaker against? I'll rise to speak against and only to say a few things that we, as a city, put a lot of emphasis on what our environment is about. There's many people in this gallery that are very concerned about the environment. They often come in and talk to me about it and their concerns of what's happening with the water heating up and maybe the effects it's having on rivers and our livelihood, where grapes are getting affected and other things are going on, our tourism, the temperatures that we are seeing at the moment. And there are some very good arguments. And Councillor Kennedy, I commend you on some of those points you say, and I do listen to a number of people's different views, but I also, as I've stated before, have to make informed decisions based on what the World Health Organisations are saying, or what the CSIRO are saying, what the Americans agencies on the environment are saying. And in simple terms, I have to represent our community where we say, where environment is one of our highest rated areas that we have for this city. Everyone loves it for the environment. If things are changing, they are changing. And I'm simply going to say that I would possibly foreshadow that number at 50% if people would be happy. But I want to say that even at 100%, we are talking the average ratepayer, $3.48 a year. That is less than 1 cent a year to be seen to be doing the right thing. And if we aren't buying that energy, somebody else will be. This is being recorded. The community is seeing how we are debating on these items. If they would be quite happy to say, you know, 1 cent a day, nah, I want it in my pocket. Talking about cost of living, that's nothing. There are oil companies making billions of dollars, and yet I don't see us going out and fighting the oil companies. This is something that we've signed up to. It's something that we have a commitment as a local government. So I would commend the councillors to not go with this recommendation, but I would be prepared to put forward an alternative, should this not pass, of 50%. Thank you. Speaker for? Speaker against? Okay, therefore I put the motion. Oh, sorry. Councillor McNeish, you've spoken. Councillor Kennedy, you're right to reply. It's been a long time since I had a meeting.
So I think Councillor Ryan's motion to go 0%, I don't think is reasonable. I think we need to come to the table. There still is concern in the community about the environment, and also amongst the whole state. And by going 25%, it helps the remainder of the state with whatever they would like to choose in their steps to reach their targets. A note on environment. I mean, I think we need to be critical about renewable energies. We can't just accept what is being pushed down to us. I think we really need to question it, and they need to, and understand whether this stuff is a net benefit. So it's not that we're not for the environment, we're just, we're questioning it. We're not running full steam ahead into it. It was mentioned that the CSIRO make these predictions. Well, a lot of these organisations just follow the IPCC, which is a global organisation, the Bureau of Meteorology. They just simply follow recommendations from the IPCC. On the cost, how much extra it is purchase renewables. Yes, it's only 0.14% of the rate rise, but I think we continue to do this. We just say, oh, it's only a little bit more here, it's only a little bit more here, and then we eventually get to a 7% rate rise, and that's, you know, we have 6% this year, it's 7% next year. Well, yeah, until we accept the long-term financial plan. But, you know, every little bit counts. And if we don't buy the renewable energy, the energy companies actually need to sell it at a loss to keep the grid operating so we don't have power cuts. It's quite a complex system. The wholesale energy market is a big stock market, very confusing. And so is the grid infrastructure. You know, the power companies have concerns of how to operate it with renewable energies. Because renewable energies, you have excess solar in the day. When the wind's blowing, you might have excess, and you need to get rid of that energy.
I will ask you to stick to rebuttal. But
Okay, yeah. So, yes, councillors, a difficult one, I understand, but I think this question nearly needs to be asked, and we need to look at other measures, to keep the emissions down, but also have a look at climate change and really focus on, well, what is happening and how can we mitigate that, not just throwing money at renewable energies. Thank you.
thank you, Councillor Kennedy. Therefore, I put the motion. All those in favour? All those against? Oh, so that's, sorry, can we just... So that's 4 against and 5 for. So it was carried 5-4. Thank you. Move on to item 12.4, safer speed trials. We have an alternate pulled by Councillor McNeish. Items in front of you with an addition of point 4. Okay, Councillor McNeish, do you wish to move your motion?
Move as written on your screen. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. That's the alternative recommendation. Do I have a seconder? Seconded, Councillor Love. Is there opposition? There is opposition, therefore, Councillor McNeish, you may put your motion.
Thank you. I won't be long. I commend the CEO and the staff for an excellent report. Safer roads. There is a list of A to N of the safer roads that we are hopeful for. That doesn't mean to say other roads can and won't be addressed in time, but right now there's a very healthy list and a very healthy community consultation exercise, I might add. A trial, well, if main roads were going to spend $800,000 on signage, it's, I understand, it would be unlikely for anything to revert after a trial. So trial, perhaps not. But what was certain was the blanket 1250 roads in an all or nothing deal is turned out to face significant opposition. So there might want to be some thought going to how that all or nothing approach has resulted in where we are. But the main point I want to talk about was point number 4, because decisions need context. Good decisions are made with, you know, as wide a context as is relevant. And road safety factors are many. Speed is just one. Volume is another. And now we need expert advice from Main Roads WA, because there's an increasing number of people coming down to this district year after year, more population, particularly on our east-west distributor roads with very lovely 100-year-old plus vegetation. And volume-based risk exceeding thresholds means clearing, and that would be a disaster. So we need to speak to Main Roads about the future and the strategy of how to accommodate funneling people from Perth flying them from the east. They want to head west. How are they going to do it? Especially if we crank up Vass as a major settlement. How do we get people from Perth, from the east, living in Vass to the beaches without decimating our roads? And that's what we would love to talk to Regional Director Barnsley about, and I believe he might be amenable to coming along and talking to us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor McNeish. Councillor Love, do you wish to speak?
I feel as though Councillor McNish has touched on everything. I wholeheartedly agree with him, and I commend him for adding in this extra section, point 4 A and B. It's been something that I've held concerns over as well, over the Vass and Dunsborough link on retaining the trees and making sure that we future plan that next linkage of our road network. So highly commend you for putting this in. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Love. Speaker against?
Thank you. I would just like to foreshadow an amendment to point 1, and I will explain why.
Could you scroll down? Yeah, is this going to be an alternative or an amendment?
No, it's just an amendment.
So
you're moving an amendment?
Yes.
just want to have a look at point 1. That's all.
Yep.
If you can just, thank you.
Do you want me to?
Yep.
Yep. So the amendment to read, advises RAC and Main Roads WA that it supports the implementation of a 3-year trial of speed reductions for the purpose of evaluating any positive road safety impacts these may bring for a select number of high priority roads and/or precincts as identified by City of Busselton staff and community surveys. And then removing including but not limited to the words these being.
So these.
Being. And then the list.
You may ask a question.
For what it's worth, as the substantive, I think that's a very sharp pickup and would welcome it.
Thank you.
Kathleen just confirming that is correct on the screen there as you wish to move the amendment.
That's correct.
Yeah, as long as that goes. Need a second. Yeah, one.
Just need a seconder for the amendment.
One, okay.
Do I have a seconder? Councillor Cagg?
I'll second it.
Oh,
There you go.
well, I'll give it to Cagg this time, but I'll look on you next time.
Makes no difference.
Is there any objection? Opposition? Being no opposition, put the motion for that change. Councillor Beecroft? Thank you. 9-0. So we'll now move on with the substantive motion. If you wish to continue speaking, Councillor Lee.
The reason for my amendment is that when this trial was first put forward to the City of Busselton, the trial was about identifying trouble spots, black spots and dangerous roads, and RAC asked the community to identify roads that could benefit from having a speed reduction. That is very different from what we have today, which is a whole of network approach rather than a specific data-led, research-led, information-led approach to safer roads. I have a vested interest in saving people's lives on roads. My 2 cousins were killed in a car crash when they were very young. I was a paramedic for 14 years. I'm now a driving instructor, and I have 2 children about to get their licence. Aside from the fact that we all have a vested interest because we all use our roads, there's no question that we want safer roads. But we need to stick to the data and the facts. And I would dare to ask any of you who've had your licence for some time, if you go for your driving licence today, do you think you would pass? I could pretty much guarantee you that you would not. And the reason is, the way we teach our kids to drive now is very different to how we learned. When I turned 3 months before I turned 17, I went and got my learner's permit. The day I turned 17, I went and did a hill start and a 3-point turn. There you go. All you had to do was move a car. Now we teach our kids about flow, park, movement, responsiveness, vehicle management, signalling and looking. All the things that we should have been teaching for years but haven't. And we don't tell people to go and review their licence every 10 years. So we're relying on people to get the information from Just Driving. Anyone had any issues in signalling around roundabouts?
Please address.
Just saying.
The chamber, not the gallery.
Just saying. The RAC asked for community input in 2022 and the community came back with 200 responses that said, yes, we think these roads could be dropped. Then in 2024, they asked them about this trial and the community identified through a survey that they did not support this. So the reason for the amendment is that I have a slight trust issue that it wasn't the intention at the beginning of this trial. And let's be clear, there was let me just get the wording right. There was a working group set up in 2022 and a steering committee in 2024, and they all meet monthly. So I find it hard to believe that there hasn't been input from the City of Busselton staff to support this, or not. So I guess my point is that we've got a very different beast looking now than what it was looking like at the start. I haven't seen any data that supports dropping the roads in town from 50 kilometres an hour to 40 kilometres an hour and how effective that's going to be. So I think we need to listen to what our community are saying. There are many people in the community who are well educated in this field. So I think we need to listen to what those people are saying to us, as well as what RAC is saying to us, as well as what Main Roads WA are saying to us. It all makes sense, except for this blanket approach to speeds, because speed is not the only factor in crashes. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lee. Speaker 4.
For the motion. There was significant community feedback on this proposal, and the community spoke loud and clear. The community also spoke loud and clear about the removal of trees on Vassielling Upsiding Road, and that is what Councillor McNish is trying to elaborate on in 4A, I believe. And why? Why do we need to take out trees for putting in audible edges, and are we going to do that on all roads? The new highway will funnel more traffic. We were told this by Main Roads a number of years ago, that the new highway will funnel in more cars onto our roads. We had a contingent of people in Abbey who were up in arms about a new subdivision there. Oh, there'll be more cars on the road. There's more cars on the road now because of the tourism that we have down here. So I think it's important that we highlight the Vass to Dunsborough link as an important road as soon as possible. And then the other thing I'd like to raise is that as a delegate on the Regional Roads Group, I raised, I think it was at the last meeting, that we are the people, we are the councillors that that understand what the problems are on our local roads. So a road like Yelling Up Siding Road, for instance, that should well and truly be 80 as far as I'm concerned. Why do we have to wait for a pleading of main roads to actually put the speed limit down? Do we have to wait for another crash? So I'm happy for these roads to have been singled out to say, yes, we would like these reductions now. The community's spoken, let's get on with it. And I was approached by one of the representatives from Wolga at the Regional Road Group meeting who said, we're going to do a paper on that, Councillor Ryan. So I guess watch this space. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ryan. Speaker against? Speaker for? Look, I will speak for. It is tough. We had a survey, but where a lot of the community did raise some interesting points. I did speak on radio quite a lot, highlighting this and trying to push the point that if we do slow down, it'll be safer. But at this stage, the community seems to have raised their concerns. There's been a very comprehensive survey done. We've got some really good data, and I do thank the RAC for what they've done to highlight these roads, and it has put this on the agenda. It's great to see Main Roads are here as well, to be listening to this. Attitudes, I think, are the thing that needs to change. I understand the full truth that, yes, if you hit something at 100, it is more devastating than if you hit it at 80 or 90, but unfortunately, the surveys come back that says we're just going to drive quicker anyway. And because we are unable to police these roads, it is a further concern of mine. But if we can push RAC and work with RAC for better education, then I believe this council would support any of those options that could be available to us with signage and such like. So, yes, that's really all I wanted to say on that. Thank you. Speaker for? Speaker against? No further speakers. Councillor McNeish, you have your right of reply.
No need. Thank you.
Thank you. Therefore, I put the motion. All those in favour of the... Carried 9-0. Thank you. Item 14.4, the Long-Term Financial Plan 2025-26 to 2034-35. Councillor McNeish has an alternative recommendation. Councillor McNeish, do you wish to put your motion?
Putting the motion as written, noting the word make dedicated provision.
Sorry, there's a word change?
No, it's just stressing that it's to make provision for. You know, it's not a final decision, it's just making provision for it.
Thank you, Councillor. Is there a seconder? Councillor Lee. Is there any opposition?
I don't have an opposition to it. I just noted in your letter, Mr Mayor, in the bottom line, it says if you need to talk to your councillors, should be elected members, I would have thought.
Oh, sorry, you mean in the executive summary of the LTFP? We can correct that administratively if you're happy with that. That's correct. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good pick up
Otherwise,
there.
everyone will be contacting councillors and leave the mayor out.
Damn, I thought I'd get through. Okay, is there any opposition? Sorry, we did, no opposition. Therefore, I put the motion. All those in favour? Motion is carried 9-0. Thank you. I now move on to confidential items 18, which means I will have to ask the gallery to leave. And I thank you for your attendance here. I can do that now. Yeah, but I can do that now, can't I? It doesn't make a difference. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, if you could leave the gallery, please. We're in a confidential item now. Firstly, Councillor Beecroft, I just need to confirm that you can maintain confidentiality for this part of the meeting, meaning there's nobody there. I can't see you, unfortunately, but...
I can confirm
Thank you.
confidentiality. I'm in my room alone. Thank you.
Probably a little bit of oversight on me, but do I have a mover to close the meeting to the public? Thank you, Councillor Cox. Seconded by Councillor Cagg. Is there any opposition? Therefore, I put the motion. All those in favour? Carried 8-0. 8. Councillor Lee, recorder's leaving the room. So 18.1 is the behaviour complaint.
Sorry, Mr Mayor, if we...
Weeks off. Okay, Councillor Beecroft, we're turning the microphones down now. I just want to check that you can continually hear me. 1, 2, is that still quite loud? Can you turn?
Yes, I can hear you.
I think you might be able to hear me regardless if that's off. You can still hear me?
Yes, I can.
Brilliant. Okay. So 18. (18.1) was the officer recommendation that 1, receive the assessment report as per the confidential attachment 1, 2, agree with the findings of the report and that the breach of the code of conduct by the respondent is substantiated, 3, take no further action on the matter, 4, advise the complainant and the respondent in writing of the outcome, including providing a copy of the respondent's response to the complainant. And that was carried 8-0. Item 18.2. The officer recommendation that the council resolution was that the council adopt the officer recommendation as outlined in the officer comment section of this report, and that was carried 8-0. The next ordinary council meeting will be Wednesday, the 12th of February, 2025. I now declare the meeting closed at 7 minutes past 7 and thank everyone for their attendance. Thank you, councillors, and let's go and grab some food.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good night.